Hello everyone, and welcome to What the is happening this week, the podcast where I put a satirical spin on the week's news. So good luck. So this podcast is going to be released every Sunday. You'll be able to listen for now on Spotify and YouTube, but more platforms will be coming at some point. And it's going to be a fun ride. So let's start off with everyone's favourite topic, Donald Trump. Yay! Okay, so the Trump administration has said that the United States Agency for International Development is wasting money and needs to align with its policy priorities. So, what he means by that, I have consulted a PR team, and the PR team said what that means is he doesn't like poor people. So, looks like he doesn't like poor people. I mean, he is friends with billionaires and dates a billionaire. And fuck. His co-president is a millionaire. Well, the United States is fucked. USAID was set up in the early 1960s to administer humanitarian aid programs on behalf of the US government. It employs around 10,000 people, 2/3 of whom work overseas according to the Congressional Research Service. It has bases in more than 60 countries and works in dozens of others. However, most of the work on the ground is carried out by other organisations that are contracted and funded by USAID. The same contracts which Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is trying to cut, obviously. Tensions between the White House and USAID escalated over the weekend when officials working for Elon Musk, who Trump has tasked with identifying spending cuts in the federal budget, were reportedly denied access to secure financial data at USAID headquarters. Two senior security officials, they were placed on leave in the aftermath, according to reports. Only in the United States you can get fired for doing your job. On Monday, Musk, who was speaking in a public conversation on X, the social media platform he owns, said, "With regards to the USAID stuff, I went over it with the president in detail and he agreed that we should shut it down." The USAID website has gone offline and employees were told to stay at home on Monday, which is really, really sad. It really is, because that's people's livelihood that is leaving, that is going. I mean, they're in different countries. They are literal US citizens trying to make a living in a different country. They get paid hardship pay, I know that, like diplomats. Hardship pay is where, if you're in a war zone or something like that, you get a little bit of an extra thank you. So yeah, they are getting paid quite a lot, but they're getting paid for some good work, so I'm just so angry about this. Next up, a different one. So Kay Bailey is actually leaving Sky News on Thursday the 6th of February on her last breakfast programme. She has said a little heartfelt goodbye, and this is what she said.
Se vierem passar o São Valentim ao Dolce Campo Real.
I'm sorry about that. Give me a sec. Right. This is what she said.
So just before we end today's programme, a couple of moments to reflect on the past 36 years here at Sky News, our birthday today. From a standing start to one of the most recognised and valued brands in global news, it's been an honour and a privilege to work with some of the best and hardest working teams in the business. News, by its very nature, is often devastating, and together we've covered so many life-changing events, from the tragic death of Diana, the shocking terror attack of 9/11, the Asian tsunami, the Concorde air disaster. But we've also enjoyed some wonderful high notes too, haven't we? The thrill of London winning the chance to host the 2012 Olympics, a plethora of royal weddings, jubilees, and who can forget days and days and days of waiting for royal babies to arrive at the Lindo wing. But after over 1 million minutes of live TV news, more than anyone else in the world, it's time for me to indulge in some of my other passions, including my love for travel. So, after covering 12 separate general elections, including Sir Keir Starmer's victory last year, I'm retiring from Sky News. Let politicians of every party just rejoice at that news. Thank you for waking up and tuning in every morning. I can't tell you how much I've appreciated your support over the last 3.5 decades. You're awesome. I'll post more on my social media and hope to see you around. Please keep in touch.
Well, who's going to be following her on social media? Because I know for a fact I'm not. I'm kidding. I actually love Kay Bailey. She's amazing. She's actually so kind. I've met her in person a couple of times and she's been lovely to me. So, yeah. I will be following her. She'll be travelling. How fun. Now we move on to a bit of a sadder story about Naga Munchetty. According to Naga Munchetty has said, scammers spread fake nude pictures of me on social media. Before we start, this is obviously very sad, so please skip forward if you need. It's absolutely disgusting what is happening to her. And she said to BBC News, I was both mortified and bemused, curious about who would pay good money to spread such nonsense, because it was found out that they were advertisements being spread on X, formerly known as Twitter. And what was their motive? Is it something malicious, someone with an axe to grind? I discussed it with my 5 Live production team, and we began to dig into it more. It soon became apparent that my name and image were being used by scammers to hoodwink people out of money. It's really, really sad. My heart goes out to Naga because I know this will be a hard time for her and her family. And, yeah. Now, on to a much more lighter story. Phone bans just don't work. Now, students' sleep, classroom behaviour, exercise, or how long they spend on their phones overall seems to be no different for schools with phone bans and those without, academics found. However, they did find that spending longer on smartphones and social media in general was linked to worse results for all of those measures. Dr. Victoria Goodyear, the study's lead author, told the BBC the findings were not against smartphone bans in schools, but what we're suggesting is that those bans in isolation are not enough to tackle the negative impacts. Trump tariffs time! Yay! Now, the United States Postal Service, USPS, has resumed accepting parcels from mainland China and Hong Kong following a brief suspension after Donald Trump changed the rules on import taxes. The US also ended a policy that allowed small packages worth $800 or £641 or less to be sent to America without paying taxes or fees. Chinese retailers such as online giants Shein and Temu have used the extension to ship low-value packages to the US and have been benefited from similar rules in the UK and the European Union to reach millions of customers. The explosion of parcels being shipped under the loophole have prompted increased scrutiny in recent years. While all retailers use the exemption, those who sell fast fashion and cheap goods have seen their sales soar. Wow. Alliteration. Nick Stowe, chief executive of Monsoon Accessorize, told the BBC's Today programme he was in support of the changes in the US. There's been a long complaint of UK retailers, European retailers, as well as the US retailers that Shein are exploiting this loophole, not paying customs duty, and they have built a business at industrial scale. The USPS initially halted parcels from China overnight but restarted them on Wednesday, stating, "The USPS and Customs and Border Protection are working closely to implement an efficient collection mechanism for the new China tariffs to ensure the least disruption to package delivery." Now on to some music. Ozzy Osbourne is set to reunite with his Black Sabbath bandmates for what will be his final performance, the greatest heavy metal show ever. The announcement was made by the star's wife, Sharon Osbourne, and bandmate Tony Iommi at Villa Park in Birmingham, which will host the gig on the 5th of July 2025. The Back to the Beginning show will be the heavy metal band's first performance together in 20 years, with original stars Osbourne, Iommi, Geezer Butler and Bill Ward. It will also feature sets from acts including Metallica, Slayer, Alice in Chains and a supergroup of musicians including Duff McKagan and Slash from Guns N' Roses, Billy Corgan, the Smashing Pumpkins, Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit, and Tom Morello, Rage Against the Machine. Osbourne, 76, who has faced health problems including Parkinson's disease in recent years, will play his own short set before joining his bandmates for his final bow. His wife Sharon told Sky News that for Ozzy there's one regret for everything that has happened to him in the last 6 years. He said he never got a chance to say thank you to his fans, and here we are. He's going to say thank you. He's going to give back to the city with his brothers who are Sabbath. It is the perfect farewell. Sharon acknowledged there will be a lot of tears, but also a lot of great memories. Profits will be shared between Cure Parkinson's, Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Acorns Children's Hospice, organisers said. About Cure Parkinson's, Sharon said they wanted to raise awareness of the cause, as there is no cure right now, but there is hope that in our lifetime there will be a cure, not for Ozzy, but for the younger generation. Now, Tesco. Are you a club card holder? I am. It's actually right in front of me. I always scan it when the self-checkout says, "Scan your club card to win club card points." And then I'm like, "Okay, thanks, girl." And then they go, "Thanks for shopping at Tesco." But Tesco has started trialling personalised club card offers, giving offers tailored prices based on their purchases. The Your Club Card Prices programme will see shoppers sent new offers every Wednesday on top of all other existing deals. These will be sent via the app and added automatically at checkout. They will only be allowed in larger Tesco stores, and they'll be able to use it for 7 days multiple times, but you can't use it in express locations. It's unclear how many people are part of the trial and how long it will last. A Tesco spokesperson said, "We are constantly looking for ways to make club card work harder for our customers, and with club card prices on thousands of products, it is already saving customers up to £385 on the annual cost of their groceries. We are currently offering Your Club Card Prices to a trial group of our club card members. giving them offers on products they regularly buy at Tesco. In addition to the thousands of club card prices available to all club card members each week. Now, onto a bittersweet moment. The world's most famous door knocker has confirmed she is standing down as Black Rod. Sarah Clark, the first woman to hold the role in its 670-year history, will leave Parliament in the summer. Few people would say having a door shut on them is the greatest honour and privilege of my life, but perhaps that would change if they were knocking on behalf of royalty. Since being appointed by Queen Elizabeth II in 2017, Ms Clark has been involved in 6 state openings of Parliament, including the first delivered by King Charles. She also organised the Queen's lying in state and was involved in her state funeral. Black Rod traditionally performs 3 formal roles: gentleman or lady usher of the Black Rod. That's the person who knocks the door with the Black Rod. Sergeant at Arms in the House of Lords. They really manage to keep order and deal with the staff. And Secretary to the Great Lord Chamberlain. Lord Great Chamberlain. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that does. I've never heard of that role, but let's continue. At the state opening of Parliament, the Black Rod's most prominent moment in the parliamentary calendar, Black Rod is sent from the Lord's Chamber to the Commons Chamber to summon MPs to hear the Queen's speech, or now the King's speech. The first reference to Black Rod in connection with Parliament comes in a Garter statute of 1522, which states that Black Rod has an additional duty to keep the doors in the High Court called Parliament. It is thought that when Henry VIII moved from the Palace of Westminster to the Palace of Whitehall, Black Rod, a member of the royal household, stayed behind to act as usher to the House of Lords. Now on to something which you may find scary. I don't care about, because I don't have an Apple iPhone. The UK government has demanded to be able to access encrypted data stored by Apple users worldwide in its cloud service. Legally, the notice served by the Home Office under the Investigatory Powers Act cannot be made public, and Apple declined to comment. The news was first reported by the Washington Post, external quoting sources familiar with the matter, and the BBC have spoken to similar contacts. The Home Office said, "We do not comment on operational matters, including, for example, confirming or denying the existence of such notices. The notice applies to all content stored in Apple's Advanced Data Protection, ADP, which encrypts the data, meaning that Apple itself cannot see it." The government's notice does not mean the authorities are suddenly going to start combing through everyone's data. They would still have to follow a legal process, have a good reason, and request permission for a specific account in order to access data, just as they do now with unencrypted data. Apple has previously said it would pull security services from the UK market, rather than comply with any government demands to weaken them by creating so-called backdoors to grant authorities access to user data on demand. Well, that's given you a lot to think about, hasn't it? I just want to say a huge thank you for watching, or should I say listening, to my podcast. I am going to try and bring a lot of people in, some guests, some that you may know, some that you may not, and make sure you follow us on our social media, all at WTF HHTW_pod. Right. Thank you very much, and well, thank you for listening to What the has happened this week. Love you all. Bye.